This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feast and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast, where each and every week we take a deep dive into the good, the bad, and the awesome of wrestling video games. I'm the man they call Johnny Clash.
And I am George Feast, and today we are playing WWE Mayhem. Is this game gonna get a play it forever or a future endeavor? Also, WWE 2K24 has officially launched, and we're gonna talk about that and so much more.
And please subscribe and leave a 5-star review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And make sure to follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. Don't forget, you can get this very episode early and ad-free at patreon.com/GameMarksPod, along with the show notes, the Discord access, live recordings like right now, giveaways, and much more.
Johnny Clash, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I mean, I was very hyped. Every time we're playing Mayhem, I get super excited. I scroll through, I pick Sting, and then maybe Scotty Riggs or Raven. You get the cool.
It's WWE Mayhem. It's WWE.
I want my money back. Anyway, how you been doing?
It's a free game, by the way, so we also may need to talk about that too. Yeah, but I'm doing good, man. Coming off the heels of a hot episode last week, Retromania Part 2. The new update came out. Still playing it. Still loving it. Still having a great time, John. I know that you are too. We've talked about it. It's a full game now. It feels fun to go through and finish the storyline. You get a nice little cherry on top of the end screen. There's no to be continued. It's a done story.
It's done. It's great. You could go back. You could play it again. You could do the 10 pounds of gold if you'd like, or just watch our playthrough. We have a lot out there. I listened back and man, we really roasted the iArcade.
You say we.
I kind of felt bad, but at the same time, I'm like, they kind of did this to themselves by putting themselves in this position. But kind of sucks. Still sucks for anyone who has one.
Yeah, I'm kind of on in agreement with what you had said in terms of what may be the best course of action for the arcade owners. Kind of find a new purpose for it and
mod that shit. How about
mod it, make it something else. There's a lot of companies out there that do stuff like that. I'm sure that there's a million tutorials online of how to just make any kind of arcade cabinet.
I mean, honestly, can't you just put a Raspberry Pi in there with a monitor?
You could. I think depending on how you want to do it, you would have to put on some kind of software, or you need to hook up for a mouse and keyboard and stuff.
To get the Steam in there.
Yeah, if you wanted to do Steam, or if you just wanted to run it as an emulator, you may need. I'm not sure. You would know better than I had what the internal controls of the iArcade looks like.
It was pre-built, the internal controls, but regardless, easy to take out, easy to swap. So if you have one, please let us know. If your names are not Matt and Brian, then you have one. I want to know.
Hell, you know what? Even if your names are Matt and Brian, be nice to hear from you.
Still want to talk about it. Let's talk about something. I'm gonna get a little choked up. Sting's last match happened.
Yes, it did.
I know you watched it because you texted me during it saying he's just so damn cool. And my God, he's just so damn cool.
He is that opening video package, man. I've always liked Sting. Never to the extent, obviously, of he being my number one, but I've always liked him. I followed his career, but that video package that they played before the beginning of the match, that's what made me send you that text message of, God damn, he's just so cool.
But even his son's getting involved, that was just the coolest thing ever. But when his son came out with the bleach blonde hair,
100% thought that it was him.
Yeah, I was like, wait, his last match he cut his hair and he grew some hair.
I was just
jacked as hell.
I was like, wait a second.
But it was
he's going Surfer Sting for the last match? All right.
And then once it clicked, like, oh, that's his son. And then his other son came out. I was like, wow. And Brian Barrero, WCW Worldwide, pointed out that Sting has been represented in, I think, Mayhem in a few games, the all red outfit.
Oh, is it just called Wolfpack Sting, or is it just Red Sting? Because he did Red Sting after.
You've brought this up last time. It really doesn't matter. There's no name for it. He's just Sting. But that outfit's like never actually been worn like on TV. So that's kind of cool. Maybe it's like the one he had left. I don't know. Either way, they looked super cool. The match was perfect. Everything you wanted it to be. Sucks he got cut off at the end, but it's pay-per-view. What do you expect? You run over, you don't get that Dynamite overrun time.
And how great was it that right at the end, he like the last thing it says is, yeah, they're giving me cues, and then it fades out. And I was just like,
right out. I had some all-in vibes going when the Young Bucks and Rey Mysterio had to rush to finish their match.
Oh man, what a match though! Darby with the bump off the ladder into the glass, and then Sting taking a bump into the glass.
Like when that glass came out, I'm like, he's going through that.
Oh yeah,
he's got to go through it.
He did a table spot too, right? It's
only
crazy.
CM Punk could see them now using that real glass. But we have our video game retrospect of Sting available in the archives. Go check it out on YouTube. You can see pretty much every single version of Sting that has been in a video game thus far with regards to what?
Oh, so I was going to say, for those of you who listen to Going Postal, Swoggle 100% spoiled what the next one was. I don't remember if we spoiled it here.
We did not.
But he 100% just outright announced what the next one is and that he's coming on to do it with us. So maybe we'll announce that today too.
Hey, go listen to Going Postal to find out what the next video game history of is. But yeah, we have the complete video game history with future releases are not included in that, but maybe one day we'll revisit. But the big news right now, WWE 2K24, if you're listening on Monday, is officially available worldwide. We have seen the videos, we have seen everything so far. A patch has already been released early Tuesday, the day it launched for the pre-order for the deluxe edition. Community Creations is already popping off. I don't know how people get this game and immediately make the most incredible creator wrestlers.
It's not even how quickly they do it. It's the level of detail as well. Like in our Discord, someone posted, it's just Sting without any paint. And it literally looks like someone took a photograph of Sting and went, I'm going to create this perfectly. Yeah. And it just looks like he was scanned for the game.
There's also giant Slim Jims in the game, which is incredible because now Halloween Havoc has the actual Slim Jim logo.
Okay. I'm calling this now on the podcast. There will be a time in a match that you and I will have to say these words. Stop throwing your Slim Jim at me. And that makes me sad as an adult.
That makes me happy.
That's a sentence that we're 100% going to have to say.
Oh, so cool you could throw weapons again. I hope you catch them, like snatch them out of the air like no mercy. But
I hope it's like the same animation where you're like, when you catch them, you like throw them down like angrily.
Oh, so cool. But we will report back next week when we really dive into the gameplay, who we created, where you could download them, all that fun stuff. On the other side, AEW Games has revealed that Claudio Castagnoli has officially entered AEW Fight Forever. The giant swing in the ring at DLC also includes 30 additional reskins for the Creation Suite to flex your artistry.
All right, so we're getting a little bit more in the Creation Suite for Fight Forever. It only took a little bit of time, but you know what? Hey, they said that this was going to be a game built for the long haul, and it seems like they're doing just that. Keep adding people, keep adding features. It's kind of weird that everything's locked behind paid DLC, but
it happens. If you would have asked me before I saw this, I would have told you he was already in the game. So that's how much I know.
I probably also would have said the same thing. But then again, we have yet to cover the game, and it's been about a month since I've played it. So
when did it release? June. We're coming up on a year.
Oh, baby. Oh. I wonder what they're going to do for the year.
Complete the game? I don't know.
We still got to do a Stadium Stampede.
We could try, but we need other people to do that, and they just don't play.
That was the last time I played. I waited for 15 minutes. I did 2 5-minute queues, and all 3 of them crashed. Like it just dropped out. I said 15 minutes, right? 3 5-minute queues?
You said 2 5-minute queues.
Oh, I said 3. I meant to say 3 5-minute queues, and I waited for 15 minutes. Sorry.
But
math is hard.
Math is hard. Ask Scott Steiner. But that's cool. You can play Claudio. You can play WWE 2K24. You can probably also download Claudio or Cesaro, whoever you want. The games right now are in such a good state. Mobile, console, wherever you are. But today,
retro style, there's everything.
We're here to talk about, I guess, kind of a retro game, but it's still going. And retro for many reasons. WWE Mayhem Mobile. Are you ready to grab them nostalgia goggles, smack them across your face, and get ready to go?
That's a little violent for the deep dive, but yeah, let's do it. Guys, if you want your beard to be soft and smell great, then you need Mad Cat Beard Care. Their products are all natural and made to order with vitamins and natural oils to moisturize your skin and to help make your beard healthy and strong.
Our exclusive scent, Play It Forever, is a blood orange, black clove, and vanilla scented beard balm or beard oil that can make your beard have a rich but not overpowering scent. Plus, a portion from their sales go towards finding care for stray cats, covering their medical bills and finding them safe places and forever homes.
Use code GameMarks to save yourself 15% when you place an order over at madcatbeardcare.com. That's 15% off with code GameMarks. And remember, the Mad Cat makes a happy beard.
You never took goggles and slapped the
to
band
myself?
No, someone else.
Oh, yeah. You're just like, are you ready to put the goggles on and snap them? I was like, I'm going to put them myself and snap them?
Man, Hook and Brian Cage are having a banger street fight right now.
Oh, yeah? Damn.
The Tax just came out? Yeah. Anyway.
Shit. All right, as always, ladies and gentlemen, the deep dive is brought to you by our friends at Mad Cat Beard Care. Use code GameMarks to save yourself 15% at madcatbeardcare.com. Get yourself our signature scent with notes of blood orange, vanilla, and black clove. Swoggle also has a signature scent there as well, and they're pretty awesome. So make sure to go to Mad Cat Beard Care, and when you do, use code GameMarks for 15% off. WWE Mayhem, released December 14th, 2017 for the Android and iOS, developed and published by Reliance Games. Other wrestling games that are out in 2017, you've got WWE Champions, WWE Tap Mania, WWE 2K18, and Wrestling Revolution 3D. We have played all but one of those games, so all of them except for Tap Mania are available in the archive.
Yeah, Tap Mania is... I don't think I've ever played Tap Mania, so it'll be a first here on the pod.
I did not. I have to look into that one. That may be BlueStacks.
Yeah, I'm looking now. It doesn't look too great, but we'll see when the time comes. But I'm very shocked. A game from 2017 is still going.
And not only still going, there's still an active Reddit community that talk about it. I was doing a little research before the episode, and yeah, post like a day or two ago, like earlier today that we're recording, like people still actively playing and talking about it. Apparently there have been some changes recently to the game that some people are not huge fans of. It seems that it has begun to follow a very similar model to games like Champions and stuff like that, where you hit a certain point and it's just like, hey, you're not getting past this unless you hand over the almighty dollar.
Oh, I hate that so much. But I think the difference between this game and the others, this one plays more like a wrestling game. It offers enhanced gameplay experience, allowing players to unlock unique content when used in conjunction with Mattel's WWE retro figures. Players who have the retro figures will be able to scan their figures within the game to unlock WWE superstars. Now, I wanted to get into this later on when we talk about the roster, but we can touch on this now. I don't remember this at all, to the point where I was researching this and I was thinking, is this the right game they're talking about? And then I found the instructions, which we're going to go over in the roster section.
So I remember this when we started doing the podcast. It was around another like wave of release of the retros. So it was still like we started doing the podcast, the wave of the retros came out, and then this game, if you walked into like a Toys R Us or a Target or anything, you would see these figures and you would see the Mayhem logo on it. And I was like, what is this? And I remember very, very vividly like being like, having a conversation with you, having a conversation in the major pod chat, like, guys, I think I'm going to get all the retros so that I have them for this game. And the conversation that everyone has, like, if you want to get the figures, that's great. Don't get them for a mobile game. Like, don't let that be the one reason you get them.
No, but it's crazy that they're like still going. Like,
yeah,
if you did that, you still have the wrestlers in your arsenal. Now, we ran into one issue with that. You were an Android guy. You're now an iPhone guy.
Yep.
We had to reinstall the game. You lost everything because you weren't signed into anything.
Yeah, I lost all of my progress.
So that means if you scanned every retro figure to begin with, and that happened where you had to reinstall because it wasn't even letting you pass the load screen, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And it didn't ask you when you logged in to, like, I started playing again too. It doesn't ask you to log in when you start. You just jump into it. So how are you supposed to know what your Apple account or anything?
I think there is a button on top to, so this is the problem.
They should lead with that.
Yeah, but this is the problem, is that the same way that Apple has Game Center, Android has their own Game Center as well.
It's just through your Gmail account, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Game Center through Gmail doesn't work on the Apple Game Center because
it depends on the
different
game.
ones. So even if you can transfer it from Android to Android, but I don't think you can transfer it from Android to iOS.
No, but it would have been great if your game from yesterday transferred to your game today.
Oh yeah, that would have been. I think that may have just been a glitch on my game's end.
Yeah, that's crazy though. I also just love when, kind of what we were talking about last week a little bit with figure fighters. I love when the two coincide together. Look at 2K24, how you're getting John Cena, you're getting Cody with the bruise across his chest, you're getting
a Hogan,
Japanese Hogan. I like the conjunction here. If only there was a network that had both.
Yeah, I don't know. Leave the memories alone, John.
Leave the memories alone. Let's talk about the game modes here. So when you load into the home screen, first of all, you're overwhelmed because there is a million things going. I
have never seen a game with more pop-ups in the first 30 seconds of opening a game. Like,
no? Did you try Champions?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Did you try Supercard?
All right, you got a point. That's true.
This is their thing. This is what they love to do in their mobile games. We've ran into it a million times already. But when you get in there, when you finally get rolling, you have your team that you could go in, you could customize, you can up their levels, you could give them, I think, new moves, swap them in and out of your main, I don't want to call it a deck because it's not a card game, but your main team of wrestlers, yeah. Then you have your story, which has 4 different levels and an endless mode where you could just keep going, so you could just keep playing. There's Versus, which is just a random match. You have Events, which George said earlier, you could keep updating with pay-per-views that happen. There's an Alliance, which is kind of like your clans. Loot, where you go in, claim your rewards and all that. And your store, which is where they want you to spend $59 on something or other.
I'm not gonna do that.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not even spending $1 on this game, let alone $9.99.
Yeah, I'm not. There are some games that I think you could justify on a handheld or on your phone spending money on the game. I don't know if this is one of them. We've talked about some of them. We've played some of them. I don't think this falls in the category. Not that it's bad. I just don't think at the height of this game, anyone really saw this going as far as it did. Because there's so many other games like it.
I don't know what
now.
it is. Do you think... I see these people all the time, even Marvel Snap, that just have every card. Are they dropping money they don't have? Are they rich? Do they have gift cards? What is going on?
I don't know, man. I'm right there with you though. And I feel like it's not even the mobile games. It happens in a lot of games. Like think about when you would play Warzone or when you would play Fortnite and you would see all of these people with all like every skin and every what's the thing, the blueprints in Warzone and all like crazy tracers on their bullets in Warzone and stuff. Like some people just, that's their thing.
I don't know.
That's like their hobby. They just go in and they're like skin collectors and stuff.
That's crazy.
I like to.
It sounds creepy, but yeah, that's crazy.
I was trying to think of like a content collector. Maybe is a better way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll go with that. I think.
I don't know. Never been my thing. Never been one to drop, hundreds and.
No, I'm just.
I guess in some cases, with the amount of stuff that I've seen in other games, like thousands of dollars on stuff. Like
I'm looking here. I started playing Marvel Snap in November of 22. And in that time, I've only spent $9.99 ever.
Wow, good for you.
I don't know. I don't understand how people do it. But more power to them. If you're able, why not? The gameplay here. You have different wrestler types. So, say you have Stone Cold. He might be a brawler. Say you have Big E. He might be a powerhouse. There's powerhouse, high flyer, showman, brawler, wildcard, and technicians.
Now, do you have a specific style that you like to play when you go in? I know that we've talked about when you would, make your own create a wrestler back in the day, you would just be like, all right, just taking Jeff Hardy's moveset or RVD's moveset. Do you have like I always like to play as a high flyer?
I used to always pick the high flyers, but I feel like old games catered towards that a little bit more, like with the collision and all that.
Yeah.
I like a nice balance, I guess. Like if I were to pick a moveset to copy over to my guy now, I'd pick like a Ziggler or something.
Yeah, okay.
Which I can't even do anymore, but I would like that's the moveset I would pick. Like a combination of flashy stuff, power moves, and some showman stuff.
Yeah. I think I'm right there with you. I think back in the day I was always the person who built like the powerhouse, build the giant guy, make him do like his moveset's like every kind of power bomb. He's got every kind of like back suplex or German suplex. He does like choke slams off the top rope and stuff. Like
we've all seen your GMP64 character.
Oh, all I had was a clothesline and a burning hammer.
Loaded with finishers every move. But this works because you pick one, you're probably counterbalanced by another. It makes the matches a little more fair. We saw as we went through the story mode, they do get a little harder. Your health does not carry over. You have to actually like buy or unlock health to give your wrestler, or you have to use a different one. And if you run out of health, guess what? You can buy it. Isn't that funny? If you want to play the game tomorrow, but you're out of health, just buy more.
Just buy more. And if you continue to buy and spend more money on the game, you can make your character stronger, which means that you can progress farther in the game, which then would weaken your character to the point that you would, guess what? Have to buy more healing with med kits to heal your guy.
Don't say that's crazy. Crazy. Anyway, it does have more of like it's kind of arcade style, but it's not as button mashy back and forth. The way I want to compare it to another game, but the game isn't released yet, so I'm not going to. But pretty much,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, as you fight, your meter gets, it's like Undefeated a little bit that we talked about a few weeks ago. As your meter gets higher, you unlock a different move to tap, but so does your opponent, and you go back and forth trading moves, and they could block them. You could do a power move, you could do a regular move, you could do a finisher, and then as you progress, as you start to win and beat them, and their meter's a little smidge of red, or sometimes nothing, a little meter comes up that you just have to tap right in the middle of the blue bar 3 times, and that's the win. And on the opposite end, if you're getting pinned, that's how you kick out of the pin.
Which, I mean, you called me out, my nimble little fingers, and they at certain points those things go by fast.
They go by fast, but what about the submission minigame?
Oh, it's like a little mini swipe DDR game. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, left, down, up, left, right, up.
Have you played or seen any footage of what's that game? Helldivers?
No, you told me to get that. A lot of people have told me about that game. I have to look into it.
It's a lot of fun, mainly because it's a big co-op game and everyone is working towards the same goal. Like you could be playing, like you and I could be in a game with 2 other people, and there could be a whole other set of friends playing in another 4 squad, but we can be on the same planet all working towards like filling this bar, which is it's cool. It's like Starship Troopers the game, kind of.
I know nothing about that.
It's you go to a planet, you either rescue hostages and you kill giant spider aliens.
Oh, cool.
And things get progressively bigger and harder as the game goes.
Sounds great. But what do you say we take a little break here and come back, and we're going to talk about that Mattel retro figure coming to life.
Oh, baby.
All right. Let's talk about the roster here. First of all, there's over 240 characters and counting, so we're not going to sit here and bore you and read them all. No roster read this week. But here's how you could bring your WWE Mattel toys to life in WWE Mayhem. First of all, you have to download the app, Mayhem. This is a great illustrated looking
I'm shocked by that first step. I can't believe they would ask someone to do that.
Little comic booky instruction page here. It says tap the scan toy button on the home menu, then select the scan or enter code option. If you select the scan option, position the base that is included with your toy superstar in the camera to unlock. If you select the enter code option, use the keypad, blah, blah, blah. So scan the figure, unlock the superstar, and then you can play with them. So underneath the base, there is a QR code that you scan. Now, I could be wrong. I remember Major Pod talking about this, and some of them stopped coming with the QR code.
I think later generations, I think it kind of happened with what we had talked about, where maybe they didn't think that the game would keep going.
Well, this is actually funny. If you look at the Walmart.com retro figures on Google,
I can't wait for you to tell me that they stopped putting the codes on the figures in 2018.
No, the code is blatantly just there.
Oh.
On the listing. So anyone you want on Amazon and Walmart. Are we going to try this right now?
John,
hang on.
I think you should try.
Hang on. I'm going into Mayhem right now. I kind of remember hearing something about this not working anymore, though.
I think they may have disabled those specific codes on the Amazon listings for that reason.
We're going to see. We're going to see in about 2 seconds. It's pretty cool, though. I'm just wondering if there are any exclusives that you could only get by scanning the figure.
Oh.
Tap to start. Okay. Where the hell do I go here? Let me close out the 9 notifications. Scan toy. In order to use this feature, please sign into Facebook from the settings option of the game. So I guess that's how you...
Maybe that's how they counteracted it?
No, that's how you save your game.
Oh.
So I'm going to do that quick. Continue as John. That's me. Open Mayhem. Yes. Okay. Scan toy. Your account has been created. Tap the restart button. Oh my god. This is very WWE, huh? Very, very WWE games. Gotta say though, menu screens and all, very pretty.
Very pretty.
Very good looking here.
Very, very
All right.
pretty game.
Let's try this again. Oh my god, leave me alone with these pop-ups. Scan toy. Scan QR. Access camera. It's so far so good. It's upside down for some reason.
There's your first problem.
Code already used.
Oh,
Let's try another one.
Someone beat you to it.
Code already used. All the codes are already used. Now, did they all have the same code? Do you think? Like all Zack Ryders had the same code. All Seths had the same code.
I don't think that makes... I want to say that there's no way that they would do it because that makes no sense. But then again, it's WWE. Anything is possible.
Let me check my Sting figures quick. They're the only retros I have.
I know, Soups. Riveting content. Oh, there's a Willow happening in the background?
They don't even have a base.
What do you mean? Oh.
There's
for you to scan.
Yeah, like there's a base that you flip. And that's where the QR code is. But now I'm looking at the Sting retro packaging. There is no base. It's like he's one that doesn't get put in the game, I guess. Wolfpack Sting does. I have that one, but I don't know where the base is.
I
might have bought that used.
Oh, that would check out.
Man, that could have been cool. I guess it might still work, though, if it lets you get that far in the game. I don't know.
That is a very interesting thought that, like, somewhere in your house is a tub with a stand to a figure.
It's possible.
I wonder if you could...
I'll look for it this week and
I wonder if you could like sell that, if like people are buying Mayhem codes.
Let's go. eBay.com. Mattel Retro Mayhem code. Mayhem Scan and Play Iron Sheik new in packaging.
Okay, so that's the whole figure?
Yes.
Okay.
Scan and Play. Scan the included QR code. Okay, I see it. It's in a piece of paper backwards behind Iron Sheik.
Oh, okay.
So maybe my Sting came with that? I bought a lot of them used.
Like, I'm never going to use this garbage.
No, it doesn't even come with that. Huh, crazy. A lot of fun, though. And they're still out there, so I guess it was a selling point at one point. Now, I'm going to guarantee the new ones that Ringside Collectibles is putting out, like DX and all that, do not have this. There's no way.
I don't know, man.
It's for an old game? There's no way. I feel like they would advertise it. They don't even advertise this game anymore.
I guess you're right.
Like, let's see. NWO 4-pack. It says nowhere anything about this. No piece of paper. No, they're done with Mayhem. They're done with Mayhem. But let's get into the artwork and the art style. I know, it's disappointing. Very disappointing. I like the artwork here of the little icon. Nice bright green. On par with the rest of the WWE stuff.
It's
the current one has... I know they update them a lot.
There's a word that I'm trying to think of and I can't... Is it cell shaded? Is the term?
Kinda.
They look so clean. Like everything about the character models are just, it's very clean.
Yeah, we got Cena, AJ, Styles, and The Rock. So a nice who's who. Tell you what it is. Tell you what the game's about. And Cena is one of the first people you get in this game, and AJ is one of the first that you wrestle in this game. And also one of the main original retro figures, I feel, so that makes sense.
Oh, well, yeah, that does check out.
Now, let's talk about the actual art style of the game. If you just kind of look around when you're in a match, at the stage, the ring, the lighting, the crowd, this looks more like WWE TV than like a 2K game.
The presentation overall of this game, I mean, it's one of the first things that you even brought up in the gameplay, like the arena, the stage, the pyro that happens behind the matches. It's a pretty game.
It's like very, like way too pretty. The wrestlers themselves are a little to be desired. They're very over the top looking. You know, they have joints where they shouldn't have joints.
There's a lot of
they shouldn't have abs.
There's a lot of I mean, you made a similar a reference to a newer game that's coming out. It's a bit like that. Things can be a little bit exaggerated because they're based off action figures, and there's an action figure line that kind of came out in 10. Like the proportions aren't exactly correct, and it's an upper body video game.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. I'm seeing now there's a site that still had Mayhem codes as of April of last year.
Oh,
so they're still going. I'm just like obsessed with these codes now. Anyway, when you get
not something that I thought you would go down a rabbit hole.
I don't know. I think it's cool. When you get into the match, we said before, you have your HUD where it shows your wrestler, and there's these little icons that pop up underneath your health bar that show you're either recovering, you might be injured, you're being pinned, you're in danger of being pinned, or you're taunting, something like that. And that kind of affects the whole swing of the match. But I think the moves that are animated, they're animated so well, even though they have Stone Cold jumping off the top with like sentons or diving elbows, or the phenomenal forearm is just a giant slingshot elbow to the face. I still think it's pretty cool, and they're quick. You don't want anything on a mobile game to be too long.
They are effective and over the top. This almost feels like mobile all-stars in a way.
Yeah, we've said that a lot, but that's just what they all feel like.
I feel like anytime that there is like an over-exaggerated game, the best example to use is always that, just because it was A, so successful, and B, a lot of people know what that is. Like it's not something that you really have to be like, what game was that? I really gotta like rack my brain to try to figure out and like remember what game that was.
Yeah, it just stands out and you know what it is. And then I think the whole backstage area where it's like the weight room and all that, it looks pretty nice also. Shows your wrestler. I think this is similar to the other games, Supercard and all that.
It's supposed to be the Performance Center, I think, right?
Maybe.
Is that like the big Performance Center seal that your character stands on?
Maybe. I don't know if they have a seal. Or if they did at one point.
The logo?
It's possible. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. And I like the arenas, how you start on SmackDown, but there's also Raw, there's Mayhem. Oh, Okada just debuted.
Oh, shit.
Spoiler alert, Okada just helped Eddie Kingston against the Young Bucks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say helped Hook beat Brian Cage. I was just say that's a pairing.
Looking like $1 million in his suit. Anyway, did you know? Did you know WWE Mayhem features over 15 of the same wrestlers from WCW Mayhem?
Of course you had to get that in there. Did you know updates are still being made for Mayhem, with the latest additions being Zombies, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels?
That's right. Pretty cool. And I think Kurt Angle's in the shop now. And he's on the home screen.
Why is there another oh shit?
Because Okada just aligned with the Young Bucks and gave the Rainmaker to Eddie Kingston, who couldn't find his hand placement properly at the right time.
Ooh. Ooh.
You love a good heel debut, right? Like Adam Cole.
So good. So good. I was thinking that Kyle O'Reilly was going to do the same thing.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, but let's sit back and relax a minute here while Okada does his thing and talk about some ratings and reviews.
Let's go.
So on the Android store right now, there are 736,000 reviews for this game.
Wow.
It is rated a 4.3, which is technically a 4.5 out of 5 stars. In the iOS store, 4.5 out of 5, but only 34.8 thousand ratings.
Wait,
So do you,
one more time?
34.8.
Okay.
Android had 736.
Wow.
Now, why do you think that is?
Are there just more
people using it on an Android? I feel like Android users are bigger gamers.
That, I guess, which is weird because when you think about like how people used to talk about the iPhone, like, oh, that's where all the good games are, and it's like, you know, when things would release and like certain apps were only available on iOS. Like I feel like iOS was the one that always had like the specific, more popular games, or at least maybe that's how it appeared because we were on Android.
Maybe. I always thought Android had the cooler stuff though, because you could, crack a few more things on an Android.
Yeah, it had a wider variety, but I feel like the big titles, like the bigger name titles, always went to iOS. But you definitely had a larger catalog to choose from.
Which there's still that battle with Epic Games. They just released something today that they're pulling Fortnite again from the App Store.
Wow!
But did you see Call of Duty Warzone Mobile's coming out, and it's Verdansk?
I thought Call of Duty
Mobile. This is Warzone Mobile.
Oh shit! Are we gonna play that?
We can't. It's Verdansk. It's the original Verdansk,
Yeah,
which is
we're
so
gonna
cool.
have to play that. John's gonna have a whole mobile stream set up now, where he's gonna have like a top-down camera.
That's what I do most of the time, anyway. Oh, a game for the Razer Kishi. But with that, George, we need to know our rating because would you look at the time?
Wow! It's time to rate the game.
The game!
All right, Johnny Clash, WWE Mayhem. Again, want to stress, yes, there are 15 of the same wrestlers, but this is WWE Mayhem. Will you play it forever? Or future endeavor?
So there's a reason I took it off my phone a while ago. I would say it's been downloaded on my phone at least 4 or 5 times throughout the years.
Okay.
And it's usually just the first to go when you need space. I just don't think I need it. I'm glad it was available to us to play on this episode. But tomorrow, I'm probably getting rid of it. So, future endeavor.
All right.
And George, what say you? Play it forever or future endeavor?
Yeah, I just uninstalled it as you were giving your thing. Yeah, this is one of those games. Spent a lot of time playing it when it first came out. Had a good time with it, but once it hits the paywall, once it gets to the point where it's just, that's the reason why I uninstalled it the first time. But now there are so many other games that are,
and you just lost your roster.
And I just lost my roster. But there are so many other games that are the same, if not better, that are a mobile wrestling title that I would be more inclined to play those now. Where this, at the time, filled the void. It was cool, but now, it's not as much. So, man, double fuge.
It's been a while. All right.
Man, oh man. Well, with that, John, are you ready to get into this week's soft lock?
Let's do it.
All right, the soft lock is brought to you by W. Use code GameMarksPod to save yourself 10% over at W.GG. Get yourself some jitter-free energy at W.GG. Again, 10% off your order when you use code GameMarksPod. The soft lock is a weekly segment where one of our mega marks from our Patreon gives us a topic to debate, a question to answer. It is a question of the name. Question of the name? Question of the week with a fancy name. This week, the question comes from the reigning and defending champion of Gamebury, Mr. Sean Tecker. Tecker's question is, with the Easter season quickly approaching, what gaming franchise would you raise from the dead, and what would you do to make it different? That's an interesting way to phrase that question, but what game are you bringing back, and are you revamping anything, John? And let's make it interesting. Give me one wrestling title and one non-wrestling title.
WCW Mayhem. I'm bringing it back. I want it on an Unreal Engine. I want it to look good. I want it to, it already looked good. It already played good. Give it some more smoothness. Give it that like TNA Impact feel to it. I want it back.
All right, I like that.
Game would I bring back? See, a lot of the games I play have had sequels and like still come out. Like I'm playing GTA 4 right now, and it's so much fun not to be in Los Santos anymore and be in Liberty City. Oh man, give me your wrestling game while I think about this.
So I think I want a Mortal Kombat, like newer Mortal Kombat style WrestleMania the arcade game. Like give me those super like seeing John Cena as Peacemaker in Mortal Kombat 1, I was like, I want like WrestleMania the arcade game in this style. Like, give me the old roster plus the new roster, and make it like the same way that they do with the 2K games now. It's a mix, a mishmash of old or new and legends.
I think I want like Bugs Bunny for NES.
I was like, he's either gonna go Mickey Mouse Capades
give me Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle.
Ooh. I was gonna
Soups in the chat said Def Jam.
Def Jam is a good one. Def Jam's a really good one, actually.
Bring back Guitar Hero. I'm done with this Fortnite festival. I'm done playing on a keyboard or a controller. I know there are guitars you could plug in. Bring back Guitar Hero. Forget Rock Band. Give me the OG.
I think I want GoldenEye.
That's a good one too.
Give me.
That came out didn't a new one come out like a year or two ago?
It's not. So they just released it on the Game Pass, as part of like the Rare Arcade, where you can play OG N64 GoldenEye on your Xbox. And playing it on an Xbox controller with like the controls mapped to an Xbox controller, I was like, this is fantastic. I love this.
Oh, it was so hard back then.
I want it. I want that game, like massive. You're doing like 8 versus 8, like a 4v4 or 4v4 on facility. Like I want small versus matches in GoldenEye. It doesn't need to be like a massive online thing where it's like a 16 versus 16, just small teams revamped. That's what I want.
You know me, I was more of a Nightfire guy.
And you're a Perfect Dark guy too, right?
No, never played that.
No, for some reason I thought you said that you played.
Must be Swoggle.
No, was it Swoggle? So I could call Swoggle right now and be like, "Do you know what Perfect Dark is?" And he's gonna be like, "A movie? Is it a movie?"
If he even gets that far.
Yeah, no.
But all right, pretty cool question. Let us know what game you would like to resurrect from the dead. Tell us. Give us a wrestling one. Give us a regular one, and let's have some fun. But George, do you want to know what we are playing next week?
I am excited. Let's hear it.
Now, I know you get confused with mobile games and handheld games.
All right.
So this week was mobile. Next week is going to be back to the handheld. One of my favorite handhelds of all time, the Game Boy Advance. We are playing Final Fire Pro Wrestling Venom.
Okay. So you got on me for the mobile versus handheld, but you did not remind the people of when I insisted on calling it the Game Boy Advance.
I said it. I was like, oh, he used to call it Advanced, didn't he?
I know.
That's enough piling for one night, but now you did it. You did it yourself.
I've been educated since. I now know.
He's been educated.
There was no.
Listen, at least Game Barry's over. No more St. Jude's.
You would think speaking on a podcast for 5 years, I'd be better at it, but nah.
Yeah, no. Just, you know what? Have a second one. Have a second show.
It's actually gotten worse. Swoggle's rubbing off on me.
Oh, better than rubbing on you. Anyway,
could not agree more. All right, with that, guys, youtube.com/Game Marks Podcast for our weekly playthroughs and a whole lot more. Just gonna say this now, with the release of 2K24, John and I are gonna get back behind the wheel of controlling some crazy things in 2K24. We'll probably announce something next week, but you should probably go and subscribe to the YouTube channel now. That way you know when things start coming out. GameMarksPod.com/shop for all our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod. We got 3 new shirts that went up. You should go check them out. I am a real big fan of the new technical difficulty shirt. It's a graphic that you probably saw in the episode today if you're watching on YouTube. Patreon.com/GameMarksPod for access to the show, early, ad-free show notes, and be a part of the live recordings. You can be in the chat with us while we record this episode, hanging out with Soups and everyone else that joins at Game Marks Pod on all forms of social media. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and don't throw Danhausen like Johnny Clash did in the playthrough video. And if you have a product or service that you would like to advertise on this podcast, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod@gmail.com. Johnny Clash, another week, another game, another time for you to do that thing.
Another win for the OGs. Game over, Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.